So today we're going to dive a bit into the ideas of Sam Altman, the central figure over there at OpenAI. We took some excerpts from a recent interview with him, and well, the idea is to explore the vision he has for the future of artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about projects like Sora, the pursuit of the so-called artificial general intelligence, or AGI, and even a somewhat surprising connection with energy.
We want to understand OpenAI's strategy, and the impact of all this. There's one point he makes that I found fascinating. He calls deep learning a kind of miracle that continues to bear fruit, and that AI can indeed accelerate scientific discoveries in an unprecedented way. Let's try to unpack that. So he describes OpenAI in an interesting way.
It's not just a company, it's more of a combination. It has cutting-edge research, a product that everyone uses, and an infrastructure operation that, wow, is gigantic. And the ultimate goal, well, is to build AGI and make it useful. Of course, he even admits that he changed his view a bit on how to do this. He was somewhat against it before, but now he defends the so-called vertical integration, kind of like Apple did with the iPhone, to get there.
It's a big bet on this model. Exactly. And this idea of vertical integration is curious, isn't it? Because, well, it might suggest that AI is leaving that more open phase of pure research for something product-focused, more controlled. The question that remains is, does this control really accelerate the path to AGI, or could it, end up limiting the innovation that comes from a more open ecosystem? A doubt remains, right? It's a good point to think about.
And Sora, where does it fit into this whole story? Is it just that video making thing that looks like magic? Well, according to Altman, it's much more than that. For him, building good world models, which is what Sora needs to understand how things work, move, etc., is a truly fundamental step toward reaching AGI.
And there's another side too. He sees Sora as a way to help with the co-evolution of society with technology, like preparing people for the potential and the risks too, right, of deep fakes, of AI-generated videos, which really mess with our emotions. But he guarantees that despite the whole impact, Sora is not eating up a massive fraction of their computational resources.
This idea of co-evolution is interesting, but isn't it a bit too optimistic? The speed with which disinformation using deepfakes can spread seems much greater than our capacity to adapt as a society, right? Yes, that's a super valid point. Altman really focuses more on the side of preparation, of us familiarizing ourselves with the technology.
But this challenge of speed versus our adaptation, wow, it's real and very complex. He doesn't give a ready-made solution for it, but he points to this need for us to get used to it, right? I see. And looking further ahead, he imagines interactions with AI that go far beyond a chat, right? He talks about interfaces based on real-time rendered video or even devices that, understand the context we are in.
But what truly seems to excite him is the potential of AI as a scientist, making important scientific discoveries, on its own. He even compares this to the new Turing test, folks. When AI manages to do real science, and he thinks we might see signs of this soon, perhaps already with GPT-5.
Wow, that's ambitious. And this scientific ambition leads directly to a crucial point: energy. Altman says that there were two separate interests he had, AI and energy. But due to the scale that AI is taking on, they have become the same thing. The infrastructure needed for the AI of the future will require a massive amount of energy, truly unimaginable today.
In the long term, his bet is on solar energy with storage and nuclear energy, whether fusion or those small modular reactors, the SMRs. Hold on. So the bottleneck for the AI of the future might not just be the fastest chip, but having cheap and sufficient energy. That changes the conversation quite a bit, doesn't it? Exactly.
He connects the two things directly, but of course he points out that the adoption of nuclear depends heavily on managing to lower costs. It needs to become viable. And in the short term, he still sees natural gas as a key piece, at least in the United States. That makes sense. And of course, he also recognizes other big challenges, right? personalization, for example, he says something like, you can't have one AI that serves billions of people in the same way.
Everyone wants something different from the AI, and there's the whole issue of copyrights. Yes, that's complicated. He speculates that perhaps the training of models, using protected material to learn could be considered fair use, but generating content in the style of a specific creator, then he already thinks they will need other models, perhaps with licensing, or with the option for the creator to say, I don't want to participate, the so-called opt-out.
And there is even a curious side that he mentions. Some creators might even want AI to use more of their style to expand their reach and not less. That's interesting. And what about his own journey from investor to becoming the CEO of OpenAI? What does he say about that? He highlights how they are completely different roles, right? And how running a company day to day in the details is much more complex than just investing money.
He gives a lot of credit to the culture at OpenAI, which he compares to an angel investment firm, that is always betting on new ideas and teams. And he strongly reinforces one thing: humility. He says that the only way to understand where things are really going is, by being in the trenches, building, testing, getting your hands dirty.
Yes, it makes perfect sense to be in the middle of the action to know what's coming. Exactly. So, to wrap up Altman's vision for OpenAI and this vertically integrated structure with a total focus on AGI, projects like Sora are important steps, both technical and social, right, to prepare everyone.
The scale of all this creates this strong link with the need for cheap and abundant energy, pointing to solar and nuclear. And our interaction with AI will evolve far beyond chat, potentially even becoming a partner in science. It's certainly a very comprehensive vision. And that final reflection remains, right? If AI really starts making important scientific discoveries soon, as he predicts, how does that change our own idea of what knowledge is?
Beyond the obvious benefits, how would we deal with the possibility of scientific paradigms, things we take for granted today, being rapidly questioned or even overthrown by an intelligence that is not human? That's something for us to think about a little.
This video doesn't end now. It continues with us talking in the comments. If you found this video interesting, I invite you to become a channel member and like this video. Up here on the right side, I'll leave a video suggestion for you to continue with me. I'll see you in the comments and in the next video. See you soon.